I'm live. Hey guys, this is Eric with Low VA Rates. Hey, I got a lot of emails this week, a couple of YouTube video messages, comments I guess is the word, saying that you guys just love the red shirts. So we mailed some out this week. Finally, not even because you guys followed our instructions on hashtag Red Friday, tagging Low VA Rates, but even a shout out on YouTube saying, hey, we love the red shirts, how can we get one? Remember, here at Low VA Rates, we love our veterans, we love our military, we love our country. Certainly we do all sorts of loans. If you're watching week after week, we do conventional and FHA and USDA, but VA is kind of our go-to. And so on Fridays, we wear red. And that red is an outward expression of how we feel inside about our military. Red stands for Remember Everyone Deployed. Now look, even if you're not deployed, if you've served, we want to remember you. We want to thank you. So thank you very much. Let's get on to the topic for today. Today's topic is how do you qualify, how do you prove your income? Qualifying with income for active duty, and I probably even ought to add here, and that's a weird and sign, and reservists, right? It's not just active duty, but if you're on active duty or reserves, this is kind of how you qualify for a loan. Now, a lot of times, I'm looking for an eraser here, a lot of times it's actually easier for active duty and reservists to qualify for a loan than someone working in the civilian world. And that's because when you're working in the civilian world, the way in which you're paid, the way in which your employer reports your pay, your pay stubs, your W-2s, your tax returns, can be somewhat confusing in many cases. Not always, but in many cases. Don't be concerned. If you're working with a lender who doesn't know what a LES form is, right? It's a leave and earnings statement. If they don't know what that is, run for the hills. That probably means they're going to really struggle to understand how to verify your income when you're on active duty. So let's talk about that. When you're on active duty or reservist, you should have an LES statement. And if you have an LES statement, you're going to need to send that to your loan officer, your processor, whoever it is you're working with, because that is similar to like a pay stub in the civilian world. Now we've seen active duty members who they get an LES once a month. Well, then that's all you're going to need. Show us 1 month's worth of LES. Or if you need to show 2 months, then you're going to send in 2 statements. But let's say you get paid every single week. You get an LES every week. You're going to need to send in 4 to 8 of those, depending on whether, it all depends on how you're paid. So you're going to need an LES statement. Here's what's so awesome about these LES statements. Number one, you can take your BAH, you can take your BAS, and that income can be grossed up. Here's what that means by grossed up. Let's say you receive, $1,000 a month in BAH. I'm just using an example. Well, you can multiply that by it's either 1.2 to 1.25 depending on your lender, but you can gross that up. So really, even though you receive $1,000 a month in BAH, you may be able to use $1,200 a month when it comes to qualifying for your home mortgage payment or for your mortgage. So you can gross that up. Keep in mind also, if you've got submarine pay or flight pay, other sorts of unique payments for your job in the military, we can also use that. Here's a couple of caveats when you're dealing with an LES statement, especially for those of you that are on active duty or the reserves. Number one, you're going to have to provide a recent LES. Generally speaking, if it's more than about 120 days dated prior to the date you're trying to get your mortgage, you're going to have to get a more current one. We don't hardly ever see that. People just give us the most current one. If it's showing that you will be relieved of your service or your duty within 12 months of closing on the loan, there's going to be some additional documentation that's needed. You see, as a lender, if we're going to extend a loan to you, we want to make sure that that income is not only stable, which the LES proves it's stable, but that it's got a likelihood of continuance into the future. So as long as it's not showing, and my mind's failing me right now, but as long as it's not showing your, where'd it go? if your enlistment, okay, if your enlistment is going to terminate within 12 months of buying the home or applying for the mortgage, then you're going to have to get a letter from your commanding officer verifying the likelihood of re-enlistment or something to prove that you've got the likelihood of continued income after you're done with your service. Maybe you've already secured a job at a civilian type of a job. Well, then your new future employer can write a letter stating that they've offered you a job and that you will be starting on said date and that your pay is going to be X, Y, or Z. Understand what we're trying to accomplish is determine that you're going to have continued income even after your service is ended. Okay? Other than that, that's pretty much it. We don't want anyone that's actively serving in the military to feel like, oh my gosh, until I get out and I get a real job or civilian job, I can't use my benefits. There's nothing further from the truth. We have lots of people that are active duty and or in the reserves that utilize that income that they're receiving through their service to get into brand new homes. What an amazing time to buy a home. Interest rates are low. Housing prices have come down a little bit. So we've seen a shift from a seller's market where the seller can just demand whatever price they want to a buyer's market. It's a great time to be a veteran home buyer. Do we have questions?
Keisha Jackson asks, can the entire home purchasing process be done with low VA rates?
Absolutely, Keisha. So I want to make sure I understand your question. If you want to get more specific, please do. But when you ask, can the entire home buying process be done with low VA rates? Let me tell you what we can do here. Number one, the first thing you want to do if you've watched any of our videos on YouTube or Facebook, you need to become pre-approved. Okay, get pre-approved even before you start working with a real estate agent. Don't go waste your time or your agent's time or anyone's time until you know you can be pre-approved. So we'll get you pre-approved. If there's issues with your pre-approval, we'll put you on a path to get pre-approved quickly. Okay? Once you're pre-approved, we can introduce you to veteran-friendly real estate agents all over the country. We work with 3 or 4 different national realty companies who have agents that have been specifically trained for military transactions, VA transactions. Why that's important is because, let's say I get you pre-approved, and then you go out and you start looking at homes that don't meet VA property requirements, minimum standards that the VA has set for your property. You could be frustrated or wasting your time. You're going to need to get homeowners insurance. Well, we have an affiliate company called Low VA Rates Insurance Agency that can help you with that homeowners insurance. A lot of times people, you know, they forget, oh, I got to get insurance, now I'm going to buy a house. We can do that. So unless there's something else I'm forgetting, we'll order your appraisal. We'll do everything. And we love that question. From A to Z, we can help you navigate the entire home buying process. Great question. Any others?
Keisha said, okay, I will go watch all of your videos. Thanks so much.
Keisha, you're amazing. You know what? If you private message us, just because you're interacting with me today, we'll send you a red shirt. We've got this one, another one, maybe a red hat. If you're not interested in the red shirts, the Red Friday swag, no big deal, but thanks for doing that. There's a lot of videos out there, so don't go too crazy. Go up into the search bar on the YouTube page and just search the keyword that you're looking for. Pre-approval, how to qualify, what's my credit score need to be, you know, because there's literally hundreds of videos. And if you want to spend all weekend just doing a Netflix and burn your brain out on our YouTube page, feel free. But you might get a little bit overloaded. Anything else? Okay, you guys have a great weekend. I think there's some great football games. If you're a UFC fan like me and a lot of our other employees here, I know the military, we see a lot of people at those UFC fights. Some big fights this weekend. You got to watch them on ESPN Plus, though. You can't just go on pay-per-view like you could before. So have a great weekend. Enjoy your time.